Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here. It's rating the 5-game NBA main set on Saturday. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos breaking down NBA, NFL, PGA, and esports, daily fantasy sports slates. Before we get into the video, guys, I want to thank you again for the continued support. Seriously, closing in right now on 7.3 thousand subscribers. If you do enjoy this content, would really appreciate if you could leave a like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't upload videos when I go live. Let's try to aim for 300 likes on this video. If you guys cannot watch these videos, I do upload on Apple Podcasts. I'll have a link down below. If you guys are interested in signing up for premium content, I'll offer that on patreon.com. Also, link down below. You can check out the different packages. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. And then finally, I want to thank PrizePicks for sponsoring the show. If you guys are not familiar with what PrizePicks is, it's a site where you can bet on player props, right? So you're betting over under on player projections, right? So for example, against Steph Curry right now, it's at 48. This is for the game tonight. Do you like the under? Do you like the over there? So that's kind of the idea, right? You're not playing against anyone. You're playing against the house. It's kind of fun. And again, you get if you use my code, which we also link down below, you get 100% match up to $100. The code is DKDFS, all one word. But yeah, with that all out of the way, let's jump into the video. So before we talk about players and their prices for this 5-game slate, let's review my lineup from Friday. And Friday, at halftime, looking good. Everything looking good. No injuries. No ejections. No foul trouble. Didn't look like any blowouts. Until the Minnesota Timberwolves decide to not make a shot in the second half. So, this was a 1-point spread. Minnesota was favored by 1 point in this game. 1. Game blows out. The surprise blowouts this year in the NBA regular season have been just insane. I've never seen a season like this to start where there's been like games that are projected to be super competitive blowout. It's literally been so many blowouts, and it's just so frustrating. Was looking really good there. Beal only plays 3 quarters. Bryant only plays 3 quarters. Neto only plays 3 quarters. And then, Rubio, Russell weren't doing amazing, but, Russell was having a bad shooting night. If they play the fourth quarter, they're going to have decent games. It's just, that was so tilting because I was really, really high in this game, and it was looking great until that second half when Minnesota just couldn't make a shot. Now, with the Chicago guys, I knew the risk there, right? I'm not mad about that. This is a GPP lineup. I told you guys not to play anyone in this game for GPPs. Because of the risk. And I told you guys, if you think the game blows out, you play Bobby Portis, who had a double-double and crushed for his price. But, I took a shot on Otto. I took a shot on Thad Young. I was hoping Chicago could keep it competitive. They couldn't. That's fine, right? I'm perfectly fine with that. That was a 14.5-point spread. I knew the risk, right? I was willing to take the risk on that one. The Washington-Minnesota game, the reason I was so high in that, I was so confident the game would stay close. And, 2 teams that were missing 2 of their top players in Westbrook and Cat. 2 terrible defenses. So it was all the makings for a great game, and it was great until that second half when Minnesota just couldn't make a shot. So just so frustrating. Yeah, KD was the other stud I went to. It was him and Jokic really the other guys I was considering at the top. But man, just really disappointing. The surprise, it's literally been something every single night. I know you guys don't want to hear me complain the whole video, but that's it for the tilting. Just so frustrating with these surprise blowouts this year. But let's talk about this slate. So the Sacramento-Houston game is not included on the main slate. Kind of wish it was because that's the game I would get a lot of exposure to. But yeah, Charlotte-Philly, it's a 214 over-under. The 76ers are 9.5-point favorites. I will mention this game has a decent shot to blow out. Knicks-Pacers, same thing. 215 over-under, 9-point spread. So just be hesitant here. There is definitely some blowout risk. Cavs and Hawks, it's a 233 over-under. The Hawks are 6.5-point favorites. A little bit more confident this game can stay close. And then Raptors-Pelicans, 213 over-under. The Raptors are 1.5-point favorites. So let's talk about the slate. And we're going to go position by position. Again, you guys, some people like position by position. Some people like team by team. I'm just going to switch it up each video. In the live streams, I will always go team by team. But this one, we're going to go position by position. So let's start at the top. Joel Embiid at 10K. Absolutely love his upside in a matchup like this. Against Charlotte, Biyombo, he should be able to have his way. An undersized PJ Washington, whoever they throw on him, Embiid should be able to crush. It's just a question of does this game stay competitive, right? So there is risk involved here. If Embiid plays 35 minutes, I think there's a good chance you could push for 60 fantasy points in this game. It's just a matter of, does this game stay competitive? Which you got to ask yourself that in basically any single NBA game, every single NBA game this year, because it feels like 60% of the games so far have been blowouts. Now Sabonis, my boy, 9.4K. I still really like him. He is playing huge minutes, 41, 37, 37. He's playing some small ball 5 when Miles Turner's not out there, and he's just stuffing the stat sheet. I just love players that don't necessarily have to score to get fantasy points, right? He'll get you the rebounds, the assists, can get you some blocks and steals. And when he's having a really good shooting day, he can go for 50 plus. And the matchup is fantastic here against the Knicks. Now, again, there is a little bit of blowout risk here. The Knicks are not a good team. Could be pretty shorthanded once again. But I do like Sabonis. I think he is one of the better options at the top. Also really like Andre Drummond. Now, with Andre Drummond, again, he is a guy that is historically in foul trouble a decent amount. He got in some foul trouble the last game against the Pacers. That's why he only played 25 minutes. I think the plan is to play him somewhere between 30 to 35 in competitive games. This one should stay close. In the 3 previous games, 64, 57, and 59. So the upside is there on Drummond if he can stay out of foul trouble. So I do like Drummond a lot here. Again, assuming he can stay out of that foul trouble. Now, Randall at 9.1K is in play just because of the minutes, right? He's just playing a ton of minutes. They're shorthanded, 37, 44, and 38 minutes. And that last game was a blowout. He was on pace to play over 40. He's also a guy that fills up the stat sheet. So I think what you could do here is you could play Sabonis and Randall together. I don't mind that at all. I probably like the matchup a little bit better for Sabonis, but both these guys are firmly in play. And again, Randall is just playing enormous minutes right now. So 9-1 is a little pricey, but I still think he is viable. Vucevic at 8.7, so really like the matchup for him. We just saw this game a couple of games ago. He had 34 minutes, 52 fantasy points. OKC. Well, that was when Horford was out. Horford is in. I mean, he still should be able to have his way with like Horford or Roby or Muscala. Issue with I guess with Vucevic, the minutes haven't been as high. Some games he's only playing like high 20s minutes. He played 34 that last game against OKC. I'm projecting him like low 30s minutes. Still a viable play. Again, he's a guy that they kind of do run the offense through. Definitely has upside to go for a double-double. And again, I like the spot here. So really, the centers at the top I have a good amount of interest in. I haven't really disliked any of these guys with Embiid, Sabonis, Drummond, Randall, Vucevic. I think all those guys look good at the top. The issue I have is this slate, there's not a lot of value. It's another one of those slates where we're going to be dumpster diving for some questionable value plays if you're going more of the stars and scrubs build. I mean, I'll talk about some guys, but not a lot standing out at the moment. Zion Williamson at 7-8 against Toronto. That last game, he had 4 fouls. If you played him, that was you got really unlucky. Again, the foul trouble plus the blowout. If you played Brandon Ingram, you got unlucky, like myself, who got ejected, was on pace for 50 plus. It's something every night with the NBA, man. But yeah, in this matchup against Toronto, I would have him more as a secondary play. Ownership will be really low on him after he let some people down. But I just like the matchup a little bit better for some of these other guys up top. John Collins at 7.5, so it's just the minutes are up and down with him. He had a big game 2 nights ago. It was okay tonight. Now, the issue I have is they extended Clint Capella. Clint Capella played 30 minutes tonight. If Capella, he only played 20 in the first couple. If they're going to extend Capella and play him normal minutes, that affects Collins' upside, right? Collins really has the huge upside when he's playing the 5. So if Capella's going to play more minutes, I think it hurts Collins. Not saying he's out of play, but a little riskier. Now, Larry Nance, I think, is a safe option at this price, 6.9K. He's playing huge minutes, 35, 43, 36. He's a guy that can stuff the stat sheet. Does he have huge upside playing alongside Drummond? Probably not. I mean, if Drummond gets into foul trouble, yeah. But I think he's just like an okay play, like a safer play, not a guy that has an enormous upside. Again, Miles Turner, fine, but I don't really, he's someone I look to if like Sabonis is out. When Sabonis is in, he's just like a secondary play. Horford at 6-1, just kind of been he was on pace to have a nice game, but that game blew out. I think he's still a fine option, but not a priority for me. Now, Steven Adams, just a good cash game play. Every single slate, right? 25 to 35 fantasy points. He's rarely going to get below that. Now, the price is coming up on him, but I still think he's a fine option, not going to kill you. PJ Washington, what I'm worried about here is he is a guy that's been in some foul trouble a lot recently, and he's going up. He will be defending Embiid a little bit. He plays a small ball 5, so I just don't have a good feeling about that. If I knew he would stay out of foul trouble, I would like him, but I don't want to go there. I'm just too worried about the foul trouble concerns. Mitchell Robinson at 5.4, another guy that can't keep his hands to himself. Price is fine. If you want to take the risk, sure. He does have some upside if and that's a big if he can stay out of foul trouble. Now, Capella at 5'2", I think looks like a really good play. They don't have the game stats up yet from that most recent game, but he played 30 minutes. If we're going to get 30 minutes out of Clint Capella, 5.2K is just too cheap. So, no, it is a back-to-back, and they were kind of limiting his minutes to start the season, so I'm a little hesitant. Hopefully we'll get some sort of clarity on if he will be on a minutes limit or not, but he played 30 minutes tonight. So if we get anywhere near that, 5.2K is too cheap. So I do like Clint Capella a good amount if we get similar minutes to last game. Biyombo actually had a really nice night tonight. Now, again, what I'm worried about is Joel Embiid. I don't like targeting centers against Joel Embiid because there is some severe foul trouble risk, so I'm probably going to avoid Biyombo. Chris Boucher is like the biggest question mark for me. I just don't know what to project for his minutes, right? Because that last game he played 24, again, it blew out. Also, there's no Siakam. The minutes so far have been 15, 28, 5, and then 24 in a blowout. So what are we going to get from Chris Boucher? Well, I would say most nights probably at least 15 minutes. And if he gets upside of like 20 plus, then I would like him a lot more. I don't know what really his role is yet with this team. Like, is he going to be a 25-minute night guy, or is he going to be like a 15-minute a night guy? And that matters obviously huge. So he's a really good point per minute guy. He's priced at 4.7. If I knew he was going to play over 20 minutes, I would play him. But there just is some risk here. So again, he's a question mark, but do like his upside if things go right and the minutes get extended for him. Baines, the minutes have kind of been going down for him. Only played 15. Again, that was a blowout. The price came down a bit, but I think he's okay, but not a priority. JaVale McGee at 4-1, so he was also in some foul trouble. Now, I played him in that early slate. I got lucky that Drummond got in foul trouble, but then JaVale McGee got in foul trouble. So he only played 14 minutes. He could have played a lot more if he could have stayed out of foul trouble. Now, you kind of know what you're getting out of JaVale McGee here, right? About 15 minutes. He's a good point per minute guy. He's had over 20 fantasy points the last 3 games. And if Drummond does get in some foul trouble, he will get extended. He should have played more minutes that last game when Drummond got in foul trouble, but he also got in foul trouble. So, McGee is definitely in play at that price just because there's really not a lot of value on the slate. You can make the same argument for Dwight Howard. I think I like the upside a little bit more on a guy like JaVale McGee. Right? Howard will play 10 to 15 minutes. I just think I prefer the upside a little bit better McGee at the moment. Now, with like Roby and Muscala, I don't think they're completely out of play. Roby played 18 minutes the last game. Muscala played 16. They've been okay. So yeah, they're viable. There's a couple other cheap bigs just because really there's no value on the slate. So a guy like Kem Birch. Now he played 24 minutes in the blowout. I expect in regular games like somewhere around 15 to 20 is kind of where he's been living at. And he's had over 10 fantasy points in every single game. So yes, he is also in the mix. I know it's gross. And then Nerlens Noel at 3.3K. And I like the upside in Nerlens Noel. We really haven't seen, Mitchell Robinson getting like early foul trouble yet, but if we do, Nerlens Noel is coming in, and he's a good point per minute guy, right? So I like the upside in Noel. I think he'll play about 15 minutes if Mitchell Robinson does not get in foul trouble, and could get extended if he does. And the Pacers are a big team, so I don't really think the Knicks can go small and run like Randall at the 5. They could a little bit, but I think they're going to want, either Mitchell Robinson or Nerlens Noel out there. So I actually do have interest in Noel. And again, if things go right, we get some Robinson foul trouble, he could smash that price. And below that, that's really it. So yeah, I talked about, some value guys down here, a lot of backup centers that, on a normal slate we wouldn't really consider, but this slate we have to. Now things could open up. Again, we could get some value opening up throughout the day, but at the moment, those are kind of value guys we got to consider. Now mention Sabonis and Randall. Siakam 8-3 missed that last game due to discipline for I forget what he did, but I think he'll be good to go for this one. So with these Toronto guys, what we know is they're going to play big minutes, right? 39, 43, and 35 minutes for Pascal Siakam the last 3 games. He should play 35 plus if this game stays competitive. Now, this game is, at the moment, the closest point spread, right? It's a 1.5 point spread. So you should feel, better about this game staying competitive. But again, that Washington-Minnesota game was also a 1 point spread. You saw what happened. So, I think he's a fine play at that price. I probably prefer the guards, but it is a good matchup. Now, Ingram, I guess, was on pace to absolutely smash that other night and gets ejected. And from what I didn't see it, but from what I heard it was like a BS call, like he should not have been ejected. So Oh, just super, super frustrating. Now, again, this matchup against Toronto isn't necessarily the best, so I'd put him more as a contrarian play. But, with the top two guys from the Pelicans, if they stay out of foul trouble, if they don't get ejected, they should play 35-plus minutes. So the minutes should be there for them. It's just, again, not really the best matchup. Tobias at 7-3, just a fine play. He's been, playing pretty solid recently. He didn't do anything when I was on him against Washington, but has been, so consistent other than that. He's someone I usually look to if Embiid is out. If Embiid is in, I think he's a fine option, but again, not really a priority for me. The Charlotte guys, it's just, I don't like this team right now. I don't. It's really hard to nail down who's going to be on a night-to-night basis. The bench has been playing, a little bit better with Bridges and LaMelo Ball. They have Rozier, they have Devontae Graham. So, Hayward got off to a strong start, has cooled off recently. 7-2 is a fine price, but no one really on Charlotte stands out to me. Let's see. Other options, yeah. So again, Miles Bridges, he played really well 2 games ago, went for 20 and 16, came back down to earth this game. 6-2 is just too pricey for him. Again, still no Kevin Love, so that's why Larry Nance is in play. OG Anunoby at 5'8 is a decent play. He shot the ball 1 of 10. If you played him that last slate, you got really unlucky because with no Pascal Siakam, he looked like a lot better play, and he shoots the ball 1 of 10. So I feel for you if you played OG Anunoby. But again, minutes, 36, 36, 36, 35. So he's playing huge minutes. I would say normally a floor of about 20 or so upside of, we saw 40 plus from him that one night. So I think he's a decent play in the mid-range. And no TJ Warren. We will talk about some value for the Pacers, but I don't know if anyone really stands out there. Now, Aaron Gordon is underpriced at 5'6" if he's not going to be on a minutes limit. They've really been taking it easy in his minutes. That game did blow out that last game. So I think the plan is to play him close to 30 minutes. If that is the case, I think he is underpriced here. So this is a situation I want to monitor. Maybe see if the beat writers have any information on if he's still on a minutes limit. But that last game was a blowout. So I think he was on pace for probably, high 20s minutes. I think he's an interesting play dependent on minutes. I do have interest in Bazley too. Kind of cooled off recently, shooting the ball not great, 3 of 14, 2 of 6. He should play over 30 minutes in competitive games, and 5'4" is a fair price. So I do have interest in Bazley. Let's see. I do like the wings too for Atlanta with Hunter and Reddish. I think these guys are a little bit underpriced. It's a good matchup. These guys have been playing. Again, Hunter played 31 minutes last game, 33 fantasy points. He's been pretty consistent. So both the wings for Atlanta with Hunter and Reddish are firmly in play. Now, McDermott, it's going to be a combination of him and both the holidays kind of filling in for no TJ Warren. But does one really stand out here? I know, McDermott had a decent shooting day. He went for 29 fantasy points. But my issue with him is the floor is really low if he's not making his shots. 9 rebounds, more of an outlier for him. Normally not a great rebounder. So it's just, there is some risk here. 4-9. Again, we're not getting him at an amazing discount. C.D. Osman just hasn't really been playing a ton of minutes. Now, he has been shooting the ball terribly. 2 of 12, 1 of 8. I think it's an interesting buy low opportunity. We'll see what they do with the starting lineup. They started Dante Exum the last game, so if they start Exum again, then CD becomes riskier. If they start CD, then I think he looks like a better play here. So, depending on starting lineup news there for Cleveland. Gallinari, don't think he's going to be available again. Could miss some games. Again, that was on the 31st. So, if he's out again, Reddish, Hunter kind of solidifies their minutes, and I think they're both decent plays. Kevin Knox at 3.7 is probable. Again, got extended the last game due to the blowout. I don't know what the minutes going to be for Kevin Knox. He's at 26, then 16, then 32 in that game that blew out. So what are we going to get from Knox minutes-wise? If I knew he was going to play close to 30 minutes, I would like him a good amount for value. But we don't really know, right? So I think he's an okay value play. Minutes, a little uneasy, but if all those guys are out again for the Knicks, then they're going to have a pretty short, they're going to be pretty short-handed. And I think that about wraps it up for power forwards. Let's move on to small forward. Ben Simmons, again, him, Tobias Harris, they're just secondary plays. When Embiid is in, they're secondary plays for me. I like the matchup for Ben Simmons, but not really a priority for me. Let's see, mention all these guys. Now, Oladipo at 6'7" has been playing a lot better this year. Minutes, 34 and 34 in back-to-back games, that's really good to see. 35, 37, 42, and 35 fantasy points. So right now, offense is Sabonis, it's Brogdon, it's Oladipo. This is a good matchup. There is, again, some blowout risk, but if this game stays competitive, I expect, low 30s minutes for Oladipo. Price is slowly coming up on him, but he's been pretty consistent. So I think he is definitely in play there in the mid-range. RJ Barrett, the reason he is in play is the minutes. Issue, again, kind of relying on scoring. 4 of 15, 4 of 19, hasn't really got it done. But minutes, 37, 38, 39, 37. He's shooting the ball lots, 15, 17, 15, 19 times. So shot attempts are there, minutes are there. It's just a question of, does he make his shots? Right? That's all it comes down to for a guy like RJ Barrett. And mention Hunter, mention Reddish. I think these guys are decent options here. Both guys should play about around 30 minutes if the game stays competitive. Nothing weird happens. Terrence Ross looks like he's back. He should play off the bench, high 20s minutes. I think he's an okay value play, but again, very, very reliant on the scoring. If he is not hitting his shots, doesn't do a whole lot else. So floor is low on a guy like Terrence Ross. Other options, I don't mind Josh Hart off the bench. Again, he's playing some decent minutes. He played 34 in that blowout. I expect, probably high 20s minutes. Again, he's been rebounding the ball decent. So I think he's an okay value play. And Reggie Bullock, if all those Knicks guards are out once again, 41, 38 minutes. Another guy that, again, reliant on scoring. So he shot the ball 3 of 15, only put up 20 fantasy points. But if all those Knicks guards are out again, I think Reggie Bullock's someone we can look to for value. Do I want to play Reggie Bullock? Not really, but there's not a ton of value on the slate. Again, Holiday, mentioned him. Both Holidays and McDermott are going to kind of fill in for no TJ Warren. Justin Holiday played 23 minutes. Again, he doesn't have a ton of upside. Price it seems about right. So I'm not overly excited about it. I'm not saying he's out of play, but doesn't really stand out. MCW is a little riskier now with Terrence Ross back. I expect probably about 20 to 23 minutes, somewhere in the low 20-minute range. With there being very little value, I think he's an okay option. He's a guy that can get it done in other ways, like rebounds and assists. So, yeah, he's in play. Now, Norman Powell at 4K with Pascal Siakam back, he's just a lot riskier, right? He played 34 minutes. He became one of the better value plays when Siakam got ruled out when he was starting. In games that have been, he's come off the bench, 18, 18, 23. And also relying on the scoring. So, not saying he's out of play, but a lot riskier in this slate. I don't want to play Danny Green. He's very, very reliant on the scoring, right? You saw it last game. 18 minutes, 5 fantasy points. The floor is low, but again, there's not a lot of value on the slate, so you can throw him in the player pool. He's got to hit a shot. Same thing with JJ Redick, who's been shooting the ball terrible. 1 of 8, 1 of 7, 1 of 5, 1 of 4. Minutes going down. So there's risk involved. He's got to hit his shots to get there. Like a guy like Dwayne Bacon, again, I don't want to play him, but he's played 23 and 28 minutes. Now, again, that last game was with no Terrence Ross, so I expect the minutes to go down for him. Also pretty reliant in the scoring, so it's just, yes, he's in play. I don't want to play him though, right? I got to talk about these guys because there's no value. There's not. So that's it for small forwards. I'm going to shooting guard. Now, Fred VanVleet, Kyle Lowry, I like these guys in a good matchup. Should play, again, over 35 minutes. VanVleet's had 48 and 47 fantasy points in 2 of the last 3 games. It's a good spot. So I like both the Toronto guards. Sexton at 7-1 is a decent play. Also huge minutes for him, 41-37. That's why he's viable. It is a good matchup. So I think he's viable at that price. Rozier, I'm just not really high in the Charlotte guys. I don't trust him right now. I'm going to stay away from Charlotte most likely. Bogdanovich, now priced up to 5'8". He can still get it done, but that seems about right. Bledsoe's been very up and down. Should play about 30 minutes in a competitive game, but is he a must in the slate? No, I think he's, again, decent. Seth Curry at 5'6". He's been playing pretty well for the 76ers. He's been shooting the ball well. He should get about 30 minutes in a close game. I think he's an okay option in the mid-range, but again, kind of relying on the scoring, so that there's some risk there with him in the mid-range. Again, we got to monitor the Knicks news with some of these other guards, with Burks quickly, right? If all these guys are out, they're going to be really, really shorthanded once again. Evan Fournier is at 5'3". He is questionable. So if he does miss, again, he only played 8 minutes the last game. If he misses, it would, make MCW and Cole Anthony probably 2 of the better value plays. We'll see what they do with the starting lineup if Fournier is out. Do they go Terrence Ross or do they go either Cole Anthony or MCW? But again, there's not a ton of value on the slate. So if Evan Fournier is in fact out, then that would make MCW, Cole Anthony a lot more viable. Other options like Shake Milton at 4'9" had a big game, but again, that was in garbage time. 3 previous games, 15, 10, 9, right? So it's just don't feel amazing about that. George Hill at 4'8", it just minutes, right? He's only playing mid-20s minutes. Doesn't really stand out. Now, Cole Anthony at 4'6", I want to see what they do with the starting lineup, right? He played 30 minutes in that blowout. If they end up starting Cole Anthony at shooting guard, then I think he becomes a pretty solid value play. Or if they go MCW. So we'll see. They could go Terrence Ross too. Either way, there is some minutes to go around if, in fact, Evan Fournier is out. Other options in the slate. So I mentioned, the Holiday brothers. Both these guys are viable. Aaron Holiday played 22 minutes. I expect probably around 20. Not a great feeling if he's only going to play that many minutes, right? But I guess he's in play. NAW's been getting extended a bit because of the blowouts. I'm not convinced he's going to play a lot in the regular game, so probably can't do it even though I'm a big NAW fan. And that's it for me for shooting guard. So let's finish up with point guard. Trae Young at the top at 10-2. I like him. It just, can we get to him on this slate with there being very little value at the moment, right? So that's what you got to ask yourself. The shot attempts will be there. Minutes will probably be around 30 to 35. It's just, is there enough value? With Lowry and Van Fleet, again, I think these guys are a pretty safe place. Should play mid-30s minutes. Lowry, 36, 36, 49, 38 fancy points. He's been pretty consistent. It's a good matchup. He's a guy that can stuff the stat sheet. I have interest in Lowry. I have interest in Van Fleet. I think they're in a good spot. Both pretty safe plays. SGA at 7-9 had a letdown game the last time out. But again, previous 3 games, 46, 39, 41. I think he's a decent option, but not a priority for me in a tougher spot there against Orlando. Malcolm Brogdon's a really safe option in my opinion. Good matchup. He has a high 4th assist. He's been really consistent. 31, 41, 33, 35 fancy points. I think he's definitely in play, a safer option for sure. Lonzo Ball at 6'6", and him and Bledsoe kind of taking turns going big games. Lonzo has had 43, then 7, then 41 fancy points. So the upside is there. It's just, with him, the floor has been somewhat low, which is a little bit surprising for a guy that stuffs a stat sheet. 6'6" feels about right. The matchup's not really the best, but minutes have been solid for him. I think he's, again, in play in the mid-range. Devontae Graham's price continues to come down, but he just continues to brick. 1 of 10, 3 of 8, 5 of 15, 4. He just cannot make shots. I know a big Devontae Graham game is in there. He has upside of 50 fancy points. It's just, can he hit his shots, right? So I don't feel good about any of the Charlotte guys. Now, Markelle Fultz, I think, is a safe option at 6'2". Should play about 30 minutes. Last game blew out. He only played 24. I think he's a safe play. Elfrid Payton did only play 23 minutes in that blowout. Minutes have been up and down for him, which makes him a riskier option. Darius Garland's been really consistent. Huge minutes for him and Sexton, right? That's why these guys are in play. 37, 38 minutes. Again, he's been getting some assists, rebounding the ball. I think he's, again, 6K feels about right, but I don't think it's the worst play in the world. There's a lot of guys that, in that mid-range, DraftKings did a good job pricing with it. They seem priced correctly. There's not a lot of mispricings for those guys, priced in that mid-tier. Now, a guy like Austin Rivers at 3.7 did play 21 minutes off the bench. Was a little bit hesitant that he wouldn't play a ton. But 21 minutes, if he's going to get close to 20 minutes, I think he's a viable punt play on the slate. Now, Dante Exum, if he starts again, I think he looks like a decent option. He started, played 28 minutes. Wasn't great. But, again, if he starts, I expect mid-20s minutes. There's not a lot of value on the slate. And then a guy like Rajon Rondo, if he is in fact available for this game, I think 3.3 is a little bit underpriced. I expect about 15 minutes. But he can go out and get you 20 fancy points in that time. Again, there's no value. So I think he's someone we can look to punt. And that's really it, guys. So, again, you can kind of tell there's not a lot of good value plays. Maybe some stuff opens up throughout the day, but at the moment, there's not a lot of value. So it makes it a little bit of a trickier slate if you try to get some of those stars into your lineup. But yeah, that's going to do it. So if you've been enjoying the content so far, I really appreciate if you leave a like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't upload videos you don't want to go live. But yeah, thanks again. I hope you guys have a great night, and I will see you all tomorrow in the live stream.